In Porto, Portugal's second largest city, it's not difficult to find women who complain about being harassed on the streets.
They tell us, come for a ride with us, or insult us saying you're hot, things like that. And it's really uncomfortable. They say, you can't imagine what I could do to you. Unfortunately, all women have heard that.
A man much older than me told me, come here, you're hot, join me. And I started running because I felt afraid.
I feel dirty because no one likes to be spoken to that way by someone they don't know. And when it's older men, it's even worse. It's disgusting. We could be their daughter or even their granddaughters.
The women we spoke to were harassed in the past few months, even if Article 170 of the Portuguese Penal Code pertaining to sexual harassment was amended a year ago in order to include sexual verbal abuse. From now on, verbalizing proposals of a sexual nature is punishable by a jail term of up to a year, community service or a penalty fine. But how can verbal abuse be proved and the new law enforced? We went to speak to an expert in criminal law.
Nós vamos ter que provar para haver uma condenação por este crime.
We'll have to prove, in order to get a conviction for this crime, that firstly, the victim was affected by that offer or proposal. Secondly, that there was a proposal with sexual content. If someone says that a woman is pretty, or makes a compliment about any part of that body of that woman, that does not count as a proposal with sexual content.
But the women we met hadn't heard of the amendment to the law.
I think people need to have more information about it. I know I didn't get any.
All right, sexy, how you doing? Catcalling goes unabated in Portugal, but comments like that are not criminalized by the law since their content is considered not overtly sexual. There's no problem about making these comments. It's a compliment. I don't think it's a crime. Another issue is that the amendment was not properly explained to the public. Several media said that the so-called piripo flirtatious comment in Portuguese had been criminalized. Based on that false information, social media made fun of the law change. Several legal experts also criticized the amendment, but the criminal law professor we spoke to considered it necessary, even if he has doubts about its enforcement.
I don't foresee many convictions in relation to this crime, for two reasons. Firstly, it is a semi-public crime, for which you need to file a complaint, and most people aren't aware of the formulation for proposals with sexual content is a crime. Therefore, often they see it as a flirtatious comment, as a compliment.
Euronews asked the authorities if they have already received complaints for this crime, but they told us they couldn't provide this data as the numbers refer to all sexual harassment cases and not only sexual verbal abuse. A rights group called Alternative and Answer Women Union, UMAR, was the first to defend the criminalization of sexual verbal abuse in Portugal back in 2011. It believes the amendment is not enough. Its activists would like all forms of sexual harassment to be addressed in one single law and not covered in several articles of the Penal Code and Labour law.
This amendment is not enough to protect the victims in terms of proof of crime. So we defend the criminalization of sexual harassment in public spaces and in the workplace.
Believing that amending the law won't be enough only to change mentalities and behavior, Umar has been working with schools since 2008 to educate children about gender violence.
To explore these subjects with young people, we use art as an educational tool, because this way we can involve their emotions and it's easier to achieve changes in their behavior and attitudes.
Activists say they've observed a positive change in behavior and attitudes towards gender violence in 13% of students aged between 12 and 18.